Dad, can you close my door? My door. Hello, everybody. I'm gonna wait one more second just for see if anybody pops on in. Remember, I can see comments, so if you are watching, please feel free to pop in some comments so that I can know that there are people out there. It's always wonderful to know that I'm actually talking to other people and just not a computer screen or a camera, as it may be. Hello, hello, hello. So, if anyone's been following me this week, they know that I have been working on several different things. I'm working with some new program software here that's allowing me to have some really cool overlays and communications with everyone and bring in some really awesome guests. There's just amazing things, but that's not what I'm here to talk about right now. Um, excuse me. So earlier, I guess last week, when I did the Brilliantly Resilient class, Finding Your Own Brilliance, I had the challenge of coming on each day and talking about mindfulness, gratitude, and my mission to try and express how gratitude has changed my life, how mindfulness has changed my outlook and awareness of self when I'm in excruciating pain, and how I interact with others, but also awareness of myself on the good moments. And I'm just popping on right now, not for very long, but I really just had to come on in here today. I didn't get to finish yesterday's post. We lost connectivity with the internet. So I'm really here today to give a little bit of a discussion about how I have embraced the concept of opening myself up to gratitude and opening myself up to acceptance from people, as well as today from discussion from a very good friend that I've met through my eCam Academy, learning about grace. And for some time now, I've been a meditator, I've been a mindfulness coach, and I've been doing a lot of work in that arena. And I've been really trying hard now to break into the disability awareness community in terms of sharing mindfulness and gratitude work. And a lot of people who have watched me do my watercoloring and so forth have actually commented on the peace and serenity in the discussion of working with that. And it didn't really quite occur to me at first what that serenity or peace was coming from. And through a conversation today with a friend, I discovered a lot of it is really the willingness to let the water move, the willingness to let it be where it's going to be, to work in what I want to work in, but to accept what I can do and go with the flow, work with how it's going to come out. And I'm hopping on tonight as thinking of a friend of mine, and she knows who she is out there. Thinking of a friend of mine who's struggling and at times is judging oneself in a very harsh manner, harsher than we should be judging ourselves. We need to be giving ourselves grace, especially at a time of stress. And so I really just wanted to pop on and talk about this because through my discussion with my friend, and we'll be on some interviews together, we came out with this amazing sense of serenity and peace and just, I don't know, a sense of comfort and inner peace that still is surrounding me now. I mean, hours later after the discussion of learning how to accept what one can do and learning how to give back, but also receive. And so while I'm doing this discussion, I'm just going to pull out. As some of you know that I've been working on my level one of my card making for the Altenew Educator Certification Program. Sorry, it's late and I haven't had enough sleep, so getting my words out doesn't always come out so well. But, and this is upside down for you all, I believe. Let me change that because it's probably not so pleasant to look at a picture upside down. Let me turn that around. Yes, that works better. So a couple of days ago on my Altenew site, not on the Altenew site, on the eChem Academy small group Facebook group, I started working on showing how I create these cards. And I actually did most of this card on the computer or live, Facebook Live. And I really just popping on right now because I'm feeling that there are some of my friends out there and some of my peeps, you know who you are in my tribe, that are having some challenges today, and probably challenges more than just today. And I really want to express that we are here for you and we love you, and we're here to support you. And so many of the people in general are having challenges nowadays, but even more so in the communities within the chronic illness and chronic pain community. And as I do these colorings and I'm thinking of it, I think of how much I have changed over the years. When I first started doing these kind of cards, I would never go out of the lines. I would be very, very strict with my coloring and my shading, and I wouldn't let things just kind of flow. And now I'm really learning to let it flow and realizing whatever happens is meant to be and it will work out. Just giving it time and it'll eventually come together. It may not be exactly what I intended. I mean, sometimes when I hope things to be for a card, it ends up being not good enough for a card, but it's perfect for my journaling. So I really, having this sense of hope and serenity and really this heartfelt feeling today after this conversation with a friend, that I just had to come on here and really make sure that the people who follow me, my friends, they all know that you're not alone. You're not in this alone. You're here with others. We're here for you. We're with you. And I just want to really encourage you to practice grace with yourself and believe in yourself. For me, I woke up, well, I didn't actually go to sleep very much last night, but this morning my thought was going to be, thank you. This morning I thought my focus was going to be on gratitude because I am extremely grateful for all the friends and family in my life. And I had put out a little while ago that I wanted to collect supplies to create crafting kits for people with disabilities. And I've had some people send me some really amazing stuff. So this morning I was just filled with such gratitude, and I was certain that I was going to be focusing on gratitude today. I had some quotes ready and some overlays ready for that, and I don't have those overlays now up here because I ended up having this just amazing connection while we sat there, and he was going to be doing the practice interview so we get to understand our software. And we had this amazing connection today that came about because he had watched me working on one of my watercolors and really enjoyed the process, enjoyed me discussing how I put the water on the paper. And I'm using my adaptive devices because I can't really hold my pens the same way, but really enjoying the process of how I did my coloring, but enjoyed also the movement of my paintbrushes, the involvement that I get when I do my work. I'm very focused. It's a very mindful activity for me. It's a very meditative activity for me. It's a reset button for me. And reality is, I get lost in my creativity. And those of you who have chronic illnesses or care for those with chronic illnesses, or even those battling whatever challenges you may have in your life, those few moments of escapism are a God-sent gift. I mean, it's just, you can't obviously have a vacation from your body, which if I could, I really would, but I can't. I gotta work with what I have. And what I have is a lot of positive energy. Apparently I'm bubbly. I never would have used that terminology for myself, but apparently I'm bubbly. But I work with what I have, and what I have is this mindset of making it work, making things happen, even if it's not the way I intended, finding another way to make something work. And that's what I really, really want people to know, is that things don't always work out. I mean, and I don't always look put together, or I'm not really put together right now, but I don't always look all the way complete, or there are times when I'm completely unconscious with my pots and so forth, and people don't see that. But I'm here to be present, to let you know there are moments like that. There are moments when I feel like the world is falling down around me and that there's nothing that I can do to succeed. We all have those moments. But it's what you do with yourself when you have those moments that really matters. We all have moments of self-doubt. We all have moments when we wonder, is this what life is gonna be, especially those with chronic pain? Is this what my life is really gonna be like? Is it not gonna ever end? Is there not gonna be something better for me? And what I would just really like to say is, you gotta give yourself some space. You've got to open yourself up for acceptance. I mean, I know the concept of manifestation and of opening yourself up and letting in people, letting people help you. I've been told I don't do that enough, and letting people help you and be of help to others. But also, we practice a lot of times of giving other people grace, of supporting others. So often we forget to support ourselves. We forget to let ourselves have that grace, that acceptance that it's okay however it's turned out. And I'll give you a real life example. Today I fumbled. I wasn't prepared for a scout meeting that I had some responsibilities for, that I just was so focused on trying to get these cards and trying to complete my final and working on my mindfulness and trying to really connect with people so that I can spread my definition of mindfulness, my concept of redefining one's success and the flexibility of a dynamic goal setting so that one can succeed with whatever their ability is. I've been so focused on trying to get that out and so focused on trying to learn this eCam software, and then of course loss of electricity and power and so forth yesterday didn't help any. But really, I'm just here today to be present, to let you know, for those that are listening and that are struggling, you're not alone. We all struggle. We all have some obstacle to overcome. And some of us may have more challenges than others, but that's okay. It's really, how do we work around those challenges? As my dad always says, right? One door closes, another door opens, or when there's a will, there's a way, or you can find there's always another way to accomplish something. There's another way to go about it. And if there's not, then there's something else that's more important for you to do. And for years now, I've always found my silver lining of my Ehlers-Danlos syndrome to be meeting of my husband. And, all the side effects and secondary disorders and um, the dysautonomia and all those things that happen because of Ehlers-Danlos, I've coupled in with the whole silver lining of meeting my husband, whom I would never have met had it not been for Ehlers-Danlos and RSD, or now it's CRPS, I believe it's called. I would never have met him. But for the longest time, I struggled with what was the meaning and purpose of my myasthenia gravis. And lately, I've realized that the purpose for me and my definition is finding my voice of as an advocate, but as a person to inspire and utilize my skills from back when I was a hotline counselor and taking counseling classes in my master's program, but also with my experience through the chronic pain and my creative element, to turn around and be outspoken and showing the positivity and okay, maybe I'm not bubbling right now because I haven't had any sleep in a really long time, but to show that positive energy and that no matter what, there is something that we can do. And we all have value and we all matter. And most importantly, we have to be willing to forgive ourselves and not judge ourselves in a manner that is so harsh that it is detrimental to our success. It's okay to be critical of oneself, to critique. Thank you. I'm reading the chat here, and I have to bring that on because that is just, I love you, sweetheart. It is important that we recognize the difference between critiquing and positive critiquing in a manner that is useful, that will get you somewhere, that will help you evaluate. Oh, I didn't speak slow enough, or I didn't enunciate. That's one thing. But to judge yourself on, oh shit, Doug, I didn't have any energy that day. I looked horrible. I presented badly. Well, that's reality for people with chronic illnesses. We have days where we're just not going to be at our best or at the best moment or the highest energy. That's okay. We have to accept when we don't succeed as just a learning experience and a place to move forward, not a place to hammer with a sledgehammer yourself for not doing the way that you wanted to do. Most importantly, I really, really, really want to make sure that people understand the redefinition of redefining success based on your abilities, not the abilities of those around you, not on those that are expected on you by society, but on your realistic abilities. For those of you who've heard me talk before about SMART goal setting, it's all about specific, measurable, attainable, reasonable, and timetable. And I'll put that up next time. But the purpose being is that we need to recognize that what is attainable and reasonable for our neighbor or our family or even somebody with the same disorder, but you are slightly different, is not the same. And we can't use somebody else's abilities and timetables and schedules for your success, for definition of your abilities. Today was an absolutely wonderful day for me. I had some amazing connectivities with people. I started the day with the belief that I really want to be working on gratitude, and I ended up with an amazing spiritual connection. Yes, I actually feel like it sounds weird, but I actually can feel it. Feels like I just have my grandparents looking down on me and smiling on me, and just so proud that I've found a way to express myself and express what I want to do. I mean, I've always wanted to help people, and those who know me know I wanted to go into politics, and unfortunately, that's not going to happen. But being an advocate is my avenue into still being able to be in the political world. But it's also really important for me to help to share with others where I've come from, where I'm going, and where I want to help others go. But a big part of that is giving yourself that space for success, and when they don't quite make what you want, letting it go and not taking it into your personally against yourself, judging yourself for it. I mean, today is a perfect example, as I wasn't ready for a scout meeting that I should have been ready for, and I got on and I felt pretty darn silly for not having the stuff done that I had actually planned on doing. It just completely slipped my mind. And I was starting to judge myself negatively for it. I was starting to get angry and disappointed in myself. And I could hear some of the other leaders going, "It's okay, don't worry about it. It's all good. We'll make it happen. We'll make it work." And at first, I was really upset. And then I realized, you know what? I'm going to give myself some grace. I'm going to practice grace. I'm going to let it go. And I'm going to enjoy the moment. And you know what? It worked out. Not quite as smoothly as planned, but that's okay. It'll be better next time. Um, and and it's okay for people to see things not be perfect, especially when you have a plan to make things, hopefully improving it. So my thing I just really wanted to hop on today and leave you with is I don't know how to express how not only grateful I feel today, but actually it's very spiritual. This connection with my friend who was doing this interview with me. I ended up with this amazing connection with him. Connected with a few other people today that I wouldn't have connected with, including one of the people from the fundraising portion of the Myasthenia Gravis Foundation, a young woman who, I guess my birthday was in the computer wrong. It was backward. Instead of my birthday's 3/2, March 2nd, and it came out as 2/3. So she thought she had missed it. So she called me today to wish me happy birthday. But it became a jumping start for a great conversation. And so I think I just want to leave you with that. Sometimes you just have to be open for positive things to happen. Because if you have yourself closed to it and you keep on having that negative vibe, you can't attract that positive energy and the positive energy of others. It's like a magnetism and sense of one's positive. A person who's positive is going to attract another positive person. A person who's a positive as an advocate is going to attract another advocate. People who are similar find each other into those tribes and they support and uplift one another. And today was just great. I mean, I woke up, well, I started my day and I was constantly going into that gratitude moment, and I ended up getting onto Clubhouse today from my friend out there. You know who you are, honey. Thank you so much for that invite. And it was great because that started my day on a positive note, being able to thank somebody who donated something to me on a positive note, and it just kind of kept on going. And then while I had that conversation about my artwork, I realized how much I incorporate the concept of grace. And I can tell you, quite frankly, a couple years ago, I took a workshop at one of the craft shows, and it was a mixed medium art class. And I got to tell you, I did not like going out of the lines. I was extremely OCD about my creativity, and literally when they said to make a straight line with the paintbrush, I was trying to pull out a piece of paper or washi tape or some other tool to make a straight line. And they're like, no, 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 just let it go and let it be where it is. And that's actually what I'm learning to do with this watercoloring, besides the fact that it happens to be very easy on my hands. I mean, watercoloring and alcohol ink, working with alcohol inks are very easy on my hands, and that's one of the reasons why I do these kind of crafts. You didn't see it here, but I used heat embossing. So this pattern is actually raised, so it makes it easier for the water to kind of stay in one section at a time. And so yes, I do have things that I try to do, but quite often mistakes happen. And I have a quote that says, it won't be perfect, but make it work. And this one is just my perfect example of it, because I smeared my blue flour after I had spent hours making this particular card. And I then decided, instead of getting upset, to try to make it work. And I took baby wipes and I tried to artistically smear the rest. It kind of worked. Thank you so much, sweetie. And so and I smeared it and it came out that way. And I was hoping I would smear the bottom in the same artistic manner. And it did work. And I've had other cards that, I've worked on them and then it's just something happens and I can't use it. But it's great for my journal decorations, or it's great for bookmarks. And I'm just learning it's okay for things to not be perfect. And the nice thing about the watercolors too is that it's not actually supposed to be perfect, which is another wonderful thing. And also I do the same thing with my iPad, with working with the different images on there. And it's just such an amazing feeling. And thank you so much, honey. I love your comments. I'm just reading some of the comments there. And so for me, and before I sign off for the night and help my friend for making a celebration for her son, I just really want people to know, you're not alone. There are people out there. We all have challenges. We all are suffering it in some way, shape, or form. Please, if you have a problem, reach out to a friend. And if you are at that point of having the suicide thoughts and self-harming thoughts, please reach out to the suicide hotlines, or reach out to a trusted friend. Don't internalize it. And I can't express that enough. I'm seeing so many people internalizing these feelings, and it's becoming to a point where they have self-hatred and self-harm. And I really want you to know that you are not alone. There are others out there. We've all had moments, and it's just so important to really give yourself that space to make mistakes. Remember, all that a mistake is an experience, is a learning, another opportunity to learn. I mean, and that's the teacher in me, right? A mistake is what we like to say is a teachable moment. So don't let it go to your point where you're deciding that you are unworthy, that others are better than you, that you are not of any value to people, because that's not true. Every one of you who watches me is watching, and there's not a whole lot watching me, but every one of you that do watch me, you all have value. Every one of you. So if anybody's listening, let's see some hearts and thumbs up or something, because I want you guys to give that not just support to me, but support to one another, to let each other know that, you know what, sometimes life gives us some really rough bumps and really big cliffs that we have to jump off of. And you know what, we may not land on our feet, and that's okay, as long as we get back up again and start moving forward. As long as we don't let everything else pass us by, and as long as we don't use these beliefs of we can't do and we're unworthy to overcome our points in which thank you, that we don't let those negative thoughts take control and prevent you from success, because every one of you has the ability to succeed in your field, in your realm. And success for you might simply be getting dressed that day. And believe me, I get that. Success may be that moment getting to your medications, and then the next level, maybe getting those medication into your body. And I completely understand that. I've been there. I'm there many days. But I also want you to know that it's okay not to be the same way as somebody else's. I mean, I see amazing podcasters and posters, and I wish I could be as energetic and as, on point and as fluent and as present as they are all the time. I can't, and that's okay. But for me today, my success has been connecting with somebody on Clubhouse, which I'm really trying to connect with people to really share my um, viewpoint. And it's late at night for me, and I'm a little tired. So it's hard for me to get some of my words out. And I even had notes, and then of course I jumped on, and then I lost my notes. But my viewpoint of giving oneself grace and supporting yourself and supporting those around you, but letting you have that you have to internally know that you are good, that you have value, that you matter. And you do. And I'm here to tell you, every one of you matter. I mean, you may not realize it, but every single one of you impacts another person. Your simple message when you're following somebody, that has an impact. I'm watching Cassidy's messages here, and you know what? It's having impacts on me. It's making me feel wonderful to see her messages. I mean, I came on here knowing that I had a good message to share, and I came on here knowing I had a beautiful sense of spirituality today and connectivity with people, and that was wonderful. And I felt a friend of mine having and suffering today, and it really it it touched me in deep in my heart that if she's feeling that way, and she's an amazing woman, that there are others that are feeling this way. And it just really wanted me. I wanted to pop on today, keep it short, but let you all know we all matter. We all have something of value, and be kind to yourself. Give yourself that space. Give yourself that grace. Like today, like when I was giving that example before that I shut off of, when I didn't have and prepared the way that I should have prepared for the meeting, I was starting to really feel bad and really negatively judge myself. And they were correcting me and telling me it was okay. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sit back and practice grace and give myself some grace that I've been doing so much and trying to do so much and train and do these education programs and learning how to use all these different things, that it's all good. And it worked out, and the kids were okay. They had fun. I felt a little silly, but that's okay. I'm usually much more prepared, and they know that, and no one judged me for it. The only person that was judging me for it was myself. And I really didn't need to, because nobody else was, and that was okay. And I let it go, and I let it go. Okay, all right, not quite what I wanted, but I let it go, and I let it roll off of me, and I embraced the energy and the positivity that I've been feeling the whole day, and I brought it back into my day and my evening, and that sense that now I have this just peacefulness around me, just feeling that it's all good, it's okay, it'll be okay. And with that sense that I had today, I really felt I had to share that with everybody, because it was such an amazing kind of an epiphany, I guess, for myself. I've had other people tell me how much they love watching me. So like right there, I'm out of the lines, and that's okay. I'm gonna just let it be. I've had other people tell me how much they enjoy watching me do my watercolors, and I was kind of like, oh, okay. And this seemed, all these people that do watercolors on YouTube and so forth, I didn't really see where my niche was in it. And today it really hit me that my niche isn't so much the watercolor itself, or my card making, or my jewelry making. It could be the adaptations that I make to do my artwork, but more about what it means to me. This work to me is I put a lot of myself into it. I put a lot of my energy into it. But moreover, I especially when I'm making this for somebody, a specific person, I put a lot of my heart into it, and thoughts into it, of who's receiving it, and how they're going to feel when they receive it. But I also really, it's just a calming sense for myself. And then I've been recently told that it can be very calming to watch me do the watercolors, and to combine the concept of discussing the mindfulness and the gratitude and the giving yourself space and the pain management all together gives a very unique experience. And I'm hoping that's what it does. That's what I am going for. But for now, since I don't really want to take up too much time, because I'm going to go help a friend of mine, I really, again, I just can't reiterate this feeling of peace, serenity, calmness that I have when I do my work, especially the watercolors, because you put when I do my watercolors too, it's easier in my hands. I normally put the water on the paper first, and this one has a little bit of a wash because the water is already a little bit blue. But I put the water down first, and then I kind of just let the colors go, and kind of go with the flow with them. And that's kind of life, right? We just got to let it go, do our best, and strive for the best of our abilities, but not putting ourselves down in a way that prevents us from success or others. I mean, this is a time when we need to be uplifting ourselves, uplifting our friends, uplifting our families, uplifting our communities. We need to be, as I would talk with with students, bucket fillers, not bucket dippers, but we need to fill our own buckets with joy and happiness in whatever way you find it. And please, I just want to leave you with that note is be kind to yourself. Truly, I mean, we talk about being kind to others, and I know there's a whole bunch of challenges this month about for Valentine's Day about being kind to others, but really, my challenge for you is to be kind to yourself. And I would love to know in the comments, how do you plan to be kind to yourself or practice grace with yourself over the next 2 days? What is it that you're going to do, or how are you going to react to practice grace? And if you have something that comes up and you react in a way that you practice grace, I'd love to hear it. If you are planning on something, to take a moment to be kind to yourself, whether it's self-care, doing something creative, taking a moment out, whatever it is, what are you going to do to be kind to yourself and recognize your worthiness and your value? I would love to know that in the comments. So please leave that in the comments. And if you're watching this afterwards, please leave that in the comments. I would love to look at this tomorrow and see what people are doing for empowering and helping yourself rise up. Because you know what? No matter, yes, compliments are wonderful. Yes, hearing that people find what you do is good, is value. It's 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 incredibly empowering. I mean, one of these comments here, passion is needed in the world. Thank you so much. I can't tell you how much that means to me, because that's really, I've always wanted to make a difference, and I always plan to make a difference in the political realm, and that's not happening. But you know what? I really feel our community needs people to stand up and say, you know what? Life can suck at times. I've been there. I empathize. I understand to an extent because of my experiences. I may not understand fully, but I understand to an extent, and I'm here for you to give you space. And over the next few weeks, I'm going to be bringing people on as guests, especially as we get close to Rare Disease Week. I want to give everybody space to speak their piece. And right now, I'm going to sign off and go help my friend who really needs some help preparing something for her son for tomorrow. So I'm going to go off now and help her. But I just want to leave you all with the concept that give yourself some grace. Make sure you give yourself gratitude and give yourself that pat on the back and recognize your value to this world. Recognize your value not only to your family, but to your friends, to those you connect with. And many of you have a big social network. You have value to the people in your social network. So don't forget the value that you have and that your worthiness. And so I just challenge you all to put in there comments what you're going to do for practicing grace and gratitude for yourself. And with that, I'm going to leave you on that thought so that you can think about it a little bit and then hopefully put something in the comments so that I can see it tomorrow or later this evening. Bye now, everybody. Have a wonderful evening.